May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing and acceptable in your sight, O Lord. Amen. Amen. Welcome, particularly if you are a guest and visitor with us this morning. It's a little different here. Today we remember and commemorate our patron saint, Saint Margaret of Scotland. She's the only royal saint in Scotland. And so we give great thanks for her. Her life's example to us rings true here in our parish because she was a woman ahead of her time. She was born a princess of England and grew up in exile all her life in Hungary until a time they tried to return home and could not. And so her exile continued, but in Scotland. And it is there that Malcolm III, who would become our first king of Scotland, took her to be his bride. Why was she ahead of her time? First of all, the fact that her husband, a king, listened to her and sought her advice and counsel. It just didn't happen in mid-10,000s, 11th century. It just didn't happen. Women's counsel was not needed, but hers was. And because of that, Malcolm was able to begin to bring the clans of Scotland together. Up until that time, we really liked warring with each other and with any other clan we might find to war against. That's our heritage as Scots. We also did not like the English, so we would war frequently with them. But it is Margaret who tries to begin to bridge the gap, to bring the factions together, and to be in unity. And because of that, Malcolm would do very well as a king. The other thing that she's known for is her works of justice and her works in the church. She worked hard to make better the lives of the people of the kingdom. She saw that there was need for schools and for orphanages and for care of the widows and the poor. And she worked hard to change things under her husband's reign and make it better. We here at St. Margaret's have a wonderful, beautiful history of working ourselves for others and for social justice ministries in our community. You've picked a perfect patron. She also worked hard to reestablish the traditions of the church in Scotland. Scotland clergy, without at that time real guidance from bishops and things, traditions of the church had gotten lax and had fallen away in some cases. For example, they were celebrating Ash Monday. I know, So, Margaret was able to help them get it back to Ash Wednesday, and for them to understand that in Lent we do fast for 40 days. That's why it's important to bring it back to the appropriate start date. It's not just because we like Wednesday better than any other day in the church, but to be able to honor that tradition and to truly spend that time in fasting and in prayer and for preparing those who would come to be baptized and be converted to Christianity at the Easter Vigil. She also brought back traditions in the church of meditation and prayer and was teaching the people to do this, that they could learn in their own tradition and language, scripture, and how it meant to worship in church. Margaret was a light to her world, to her people, in her day and time. The gospel message this morning is Christ talking to his disciples and reminding them that they are called to be lamps that give great light to a room. You have to remember they don't have electricity. In the days of a lamp, a single oil lamp or candle could give great light in the midst of great darkness. Because when the sun goes down, it's kind of like being here at night. It gets dark. If you'd like to experience the stars, I welcome you to visit St. Margaret's after dark. It gets dark here, and just a single bit of light really brightens and lightens the place. And Christ was trying to encourage his disciples. You are the light of the world, and I am filling you with my light, with the gospel truth, so that you take that light into the world, and just your one light will shine brightly. And together, imagine how much you can light up the world. Margaret was that kind of person, and she was courageous, and she stood up for needs in her time and in her community. We are called to be that kind of light. We are called to be courageous today, to stand up for the injustices that we see happening in our own communities, to be the voice of reason, to be the voice of peace, to be the voice that continues to call all of us back to unity and not allow our divisions to separate us so much that we're always at war with each other. This is what we're called to live by and what we're called to do. Let us pray.